Hey guys, welcome back to Chill Vibes Only. Today's video is going to be on how to get over a friendship breakup. I think in society we talk a lot about romantic relationship breakups and we give that a lot of attention and care, and we treat those breakups as something that's more hurtful or harmful, and we don't talk about friendship breakups as much, but friendship breakups in my opinion can be just as heartbreaking and just as vulnerable and devastating as an experience of being in a romantic breakup. So today's video I wanted to just talk about how to deal with friendship breakups and how to deal with friendships fizzling out and how to deal with losing certain friendships that you might have had for a really long time. My first tip and advice for friendship breakups is that as I said before, these are just as painful as any other romantic breakup, sometimes even more painful, because you could have friends for many years of your life who were really close to you and there for you, and who you relied on and who you were there for them, and something happens and you have a falling out and now that person is no longer a part of your life, and that can be really devastating and really hurtful and really sad. And so just feel it, like totally soak it in, feel the shittiness, feel that pain, feel that discomfort. Give yourself the same sort of compassion and empathy that you would if you were going through a romantic breakup, because this is exactly the same thing, and it can hurt just as much. So really be compassionate and kind with yourself, and acknowledge that when you're going through this experience, it might be the first time for you, it might be a little bit more confusing. Sometimes too, it's not like you've had a long friendship with this person. Maybe you just had a really couple great months or half a year or a year with them, and then it fizzled out because things changed and maybe you moved or they moved on, or you guys were living together and now you no longer live together and you don't see each other as much, and all of those kind of like pulls in the relationship and those separations and those fizzles are just as painful, and they hurt and they're confusing, and we often want things to stay the same, right? Change is really scary, and acknowledging that what you once had was no longer there can be a hard pill to swallow. So just be super gentle and easy with yourself. Obviously, if it's a friendship breakup, you probably might have mutual friends with this person. So thinking about how you're going to navigate those relationships, right? I recommend, if it's really fresh and you're still feel a little bit uncomfortable, or there might be not a lot of closure around the breakup, or you might still be confused, maybe avoiding social situations with that group of friends, instead making time to see them at other occasions when that other friend isn't there. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with creating a little bit of distance and keeping space if it's going to protect your energy and make you set yourself up for the most loving and compassionate experience for yourself, right? Don't force yourself into situations where you're forced to be in an environment that's not healthy for you. Find other ways to communicate and see those other mutual friends when that person's not around, at least at the beginning or the start, because I think it can be tricky and there's a lot of emotions still. You definitely want to probably create some space from that. I know friendships end in different ways, so maybe it just fizzled and there was never a conversation. Maybe there was a big conversation and you've taken some time and you want to revisit it. If you feel like you want to reach back out to that person, maybe you just are in an experience that reminds you of them, or you think of them and you want to reach out. I wouldn't say don't reach out, or you have to block this person, or you can't talk to them anymore. I would just say, think to yourself, can you be indifferent to the response? So knowing that if I reach out to this person and they don't give me the response I want, or they don't reply at all, am I going to be okay with that? And just really sitting with that, because putting yourself in a vulnerable situation when you're already vulnerable can be really hard, and if you're working to heal, it might not be the best time. So maybe you pocket that, or maybe you send it to someone else, or maybe you save it for later. You say, in a few months, if I still feel this way, then I'll reach back out. But at the beginning, when it's really sensitive and new and fresh, just making sure that when you are reaching out, you're reaching out from a place of authenticity, and that you're being true and open with yourself about being okay that this person may not give you the response that you want, and that's not going to send you down a rabbit hole again of really hard emotions. You want to feel really strong and stable in yourself before you invite that person back in, or you try to open up that conversation again, because if you don't, it could just lead to more pain. So I would work on thinking about, if I do reach out to this person with this thing, or talk to them about this now, and I don't get the response I want, am I going to be able to be indifferent to it, or at least am I not going to get super emotional or upset about this again? Because if you're still processing those emotions, it could be really, really hard for you to deal with, and sometimes we don't need to make it so hard on ourselves, right? Like, we can just pocket that and save it for later and come back to it when we're in a much more healthier, stable place. I would try to also focus on fostering the current relationships that you have in your life. So that might be with family, with other friends, with a boyfriend or girlfriend or a partner. Focusing on the relationships that you do have and the ones that are thriving in your life are going to help you move on from this and understand that, you know, things fall apart, friendships fizzle out, people change, and it's sad, but you still have the opportunity to foster these other relationships and to also make new friends and make new memories. So trying to put yourself out there and invest your time and energy in relationships that are actually working in your life, instead of focusing on a void that's no longer there. One thing I would say about that, though, is that if you find that you are potentially maybe the common denominator, like, for example, you've lost a lot of friends recently, or a lot of people seem like they're distancing themselves from you, or you feel like you get really close to someone and then they pull back, and it's a recurring pattern, taking some time to sit with yourself and think about, am I potentially the issue here? Am I giving my friendships the same amount of energy and love that they're giving me? Am I contributing to my friendships, right? Like, oftentimes I think that if you go through a phase of your life where you lose a lot of friends, or you're feeling really isolated, it might be something that's going on with you. And even talking to those people later on, saying, hey, like, did I show up for you the way you needed, or like, what happened? Can you just explain to me so I can get an understanding of this, so I can course correct and change my behavior in the future for future friendships? It's really important, because sometimes we can be going through a lot, and we rely on our friends when we go through a lot, right? Or we could be starting something new, a new job, a new relationship, and we get so invested in that we let our friendship slide. And obviously, like, there's understanding, and life happens and people get busy, and that's okay. But if it's becoming a reoccurring pattern and you can't keep those bonds that you're making, or you're losing a lot of really good friends, it might be time to sit down with yourself and have a really honest conversation about the energy and effort you're putting into your friendships. So yeah, overall, friendship breakups are hard, and I think a really powerful thing that you can do for yourself and for that other person, at the end of the day, is just wishing them the best, right? Like, life happens, shit happens, people come in and out of our lives for reasons, and sometimes the ending isn't what we wanted, or what we ever imagined, but that's what's happened. I think there's a really beautiful and powerful energy and statement in saying to someone, hey, like, I know this didn't work out with us, but I truly wish you nothing but the best. It can be really releasing for you and for that person. But you have to mean it, right? And like, just understanding that, you know, it's life, and you still love and respect that person, or you can at least love and respect what you guys had before, and wishing them nothing but the best. You can kind of release that from yourself, and also release any burden that they might have been carrying as well. So sitting down and truly, like, maybe if you can't say that to that person, just saying it to yourself and repeating it to yourself, and then kind of releasing and letting that go, can be a really powerful way to move forward and to move on into your life, so that you can start to build new, fresh relationships and not hold on to any negative energy or any previous traumas. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you are in the midst of a friend breakup, or you've lost a lot of friends recently, I feel for you. It's a shitty feeling. And I'm sending you guys lots and lots of love, and I hope that you continue to focus on yourself and your relationships in your life that are thriving, and understand that you're not alone in this, and that it sucks and it's hard, but you're going to get through it, and I hope these tips help you guys with working through those emotions. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, because that really helps this channel, and I will see you very soon for another video shortly.